So everybody, it looks like all the rumors were true, and Wells Fargo is finally officially getting into the points and miles game with their autographed Journey card. Now technically this is their first foray into the points and miles game, but they are the issuing bank for the Bilt MasterCard, which is a zero-fee annual card, which allows you to actually transfer out to transfer partners when it comes to travel. But again, this is going to be the first Wells Fargo branded card to issue miles and points that can then be transferred to their transfer partners. So in this video, what I want to do is go over this card, talk about what it means, talk about what cards it competes with, and whether or not this is the right card for you. So without further ado, let's quickly go over this and not bore anybody. Let's get into it. So before we get started, I do want to mention when this is coming out. So technically on March 9th, select Wells Fargo banks will be able to let you apply for this card in the actual bank itself, in the branch, and then it will be available nationwide on March 20th. But to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, you guys want to know exactly what you get out of this card, because this card is actually unexpectedly very competitive in the space that it's in. So this is a $95 annual fee card, which puts it in the same lineup as a Capital One Venture and the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, which are, at least the Chase Sapphire Preferred is my favorite beginner travel card that I recommend to most people. Before that $95 annual fee, it does come with a 60,000 point sign-up bonus that you get after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months of having the card. So again, very typical and very competitive. Again, the Chase Sapphire Preferred has had that same 60,000 point kind of sign-up bonus for a very long time. So far, it seems to pretty much be at the same level as all the other cards in its price point, but the multipliers is where it gets very interesting, and again, like I said, unexpectedly competitive. So the biggest headline is that this is a travel first card, like I mentioned. So you do get 5x on hotel purchases and 4x on airlines. And now again, this is 5x on any hotel and 4x on any airline, no matter how you purchase those tickets or how you purchase that room. You don't have to go through the Capital One portal like with the Venture or the Chase Travel portal to get the full 5x. So that is a very competitive kind of offering that kind of sets it apart from these other two cards, because honestly, those travel portals, while they are really good and they do offer pretty much everything that you need, there is a little bit of a margin that they add, which makes it a little bit more expensive than things like, let's say, Expedia or Hotels.com or Booking and things like that. So being able to just purchase a hotel directly with the hotel room and still getting your 5x back is going to be a nice little bonus and a nice little competitive advantage in these categories. And then next, we'd also get 3x on all other travel. Now, we have to see how encompassing this is, because with the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase ecosystem, the all other travel category is very robust, and that includes things like subway travel and transportation and Ubers and doing stuff to maybe Get Your Guide or Viator. So anything that involves travel kind of falls under that Chase category. So let's see what kind of categories fall under the all other travel with this autographed Journey card, because if it does still compete in that sense, like if I can get 3x back on all my subway transactions, 3x back on Ubers and Lyfts, and 3x back on vacation rentals and things like that, who knows, that'll keep it very competitive in that space with that 3x back. And then you also get 3x on dining, which again puts it on par with all the other cards at this price point. Now, similar to the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, you do get a $50 airline credit that can be used on a yearly basis. Now, there is a couple caveats with this airline credit. This could be used with any airline, so you don't have to, again, go through Wells Fargo's travel portal, if they even have one, I'm not sure. Leave a comment down below if you know if Wells Fargo has their own travel portal. But the caveat with this $50 airline credit is that it can't be less than $50, so you can't use a partial credit. So I do wish that maybe you can pay for a $30 bag one day and then having the rest of it go towards the other bag the next day. But you do have to spend this money on one airline with one transaction, and it has to be a transaction over $50, but it does fall under pretty much any airline category. So if it is the ticket itself or baggage or insurance, whatever the case may be, it's $50 that you can count on that'll be credited back to your account. And then, of course, being a travel card, you do get no foreign transaction fee, you get rental insurance. I think it's only secondary rental insurance, but there's a bunch of other little categories and caveats, like also cell phone insurance, that kind of come standard in a card like this at $95. But again, the biggest thing here is the categories and how flexible those categories are. Like 5x on hotels, being able to book directly with that hotel is something that you don't see out of this $95 annual fee kind of category. Like I mentioned with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you have to book through the portal to get the full 5x, and you have to book through the portal also for the Capital One Venture. And also real quick, I eventually want to do maybe a video on the whole now new Wells Fargo ecosystem, but they're also their lower tier card, their zero annual fee autograph card, will also now get points instead of cash back. So you can still redeem it for cash back in their point system, but you do get 20,000 points as a sign-up bonus with that card, which you can then go through their new transfer portal and things like that. So they're taking the same approach as Capital One and Chase, where basically you can get these cash back cards, but you're earning them in points that can then be transferred and combined with points from your actual Chase autograph Journey card. But the one nice thing is that you do not need the Journey card in order to actually redeem points on the zero annual fee card. So now that zero annual fee card on its own, so the regular Wells Fargo autograph can transfer out to transfer partners, which is another competitive advantage to things like the actual Freedom Flex or the Freedom Unlimited on the Chase side, where you need the Chase Sapphire Preferred to unlock that travel portal. So after hearing all of this, you're probably thinking to yourself like, wow, this card sounds amazing for $95. It kind of sets itself apart from all the other $95 annual fee travel cards that are out there. But the transfer partners is where we kind of have to take a look at to see exactly what we can do with those points. So as of right now, there's only a few transfer partners. And again, this is going to continuously grow over time. But for right now on opening day, which you can start on April 4th to transfer. So you can't even transfer immediately. But again, to each their own. April 4th will be the first day that you can actually transfer to these partners. But you have Aer Lingus, Air France/KLM, you have Avianca, British Airways, and Iberia as the airline partners. And then you have Choice Hotels as a single hotel partner. Now again, I wouldn't really transfer to many of these, if any. Like I would transfer to KLM and maybe British Airways and things like that, but I already have other cards that can do that. So unless you don't have a current card right now or you really need a 60,000 point sign-up bonus, the transfer partners alone aren't enough to entice you to kind of port over all your spending to this card versus something like the Chase ecosystem or the American Express or Capital One ecosystem. So that's just something to take into consideration. And all these transfer 1-to-1 except for Choice Hotel, which transfers 1-to-2. So 1,000 Wells Fargo points will equal 2,000 Choice Hotel points. So at the end of the day, should you actually apply for this card on March 9th if you can get it at a Wells Fargo branch, or March 20th nationwide online? In my opinion, it's up to you. If you already have a Chase Sapphire Preferred, or you already have a Capital One Venture, or you already have a more premium card, then maybe not, unless you're yearning for a 60,000 point sign-up bonus that you can transfer to maybe KLM or Aer Lingus or something like that. But if you want to start fresh or start new and you want to get into the actual travel partner game, the fact that now this ecosystem is kind of being a little bit more travel focused and more robust with their autograph now featuring transfer partners as well, I think it's something worth considering, especially with those categories of spend. Those categories of spend are definitely a competitive advantage over the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Capital One Venture. Because again, if you can get 5x points on hotels booking directly with the hotel, or 4x points on airlines directly with the airline, that's something that these other cards do not have. So that's something to take into consideration. And also their $50 airline credit, where you don't have to book it through their portal, versus the Chase one where you do have to book it through their portal, and the Chase one I believe is a hotel credit, not an airline credit. It just seems like with the Capital One and the Chase card, there's a little bit more of a tunnel that you have to go through, versus the Wells Fargo autograph card is a little bit more robust and lets you kind of experiment all over the place with their actual categories. And then also let's hope with that other travel category that it has at 3x, that it includes things like public transportation and Ubers and Lyfts, and again, travel of everyday travel and not just travel outside like flying on vacation and things like that. But let me know in the comment down below, will you be applying for this card? Again, we don't have any data points of what type of credit score you need to get this, or what type of credit utilization they look at and things like that. I'm not a Wells Fargo customer as of right now, and Wells Fargo has had some, their ups and downs over the years, but my wife does have the Built MasterCard. She does have a Wells Fargo account that she doesn't use as her primary, but she has it if need be. So she is a Wells Fargo customer. Maybe she'll get it, but as of right now, we don't plan on getting this Wells Fargo card. But if Hyatt shows up and Air Canada shows up, then I'll probably reconsider. But that's going to do it for this video. Leave a comment down below what you think of this card. Are you a Wells Fargo customer that's yearning to get into this transfer partner game? Or are you somebody that's brand new to the Wells Fargo ecosystem, or brand new to just travel credit cards in general, and you're going to take this card as your first one? But once you do get those 60,000 sign-up bonus points, you can definitely transfer those out and earn a lot more in terms of value. And if you guys want to learn how to maximize those points with transfer partners, click on one of these videos right here. But until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.